Yeah, excited to see what these guys are going to bring to the table. In the world of PvT, we're going to start to the top right-hand side of the purple Protoss player. This is Skillous.
His opponent in the bottom left, the ace of Team GP in the gold, the old man of StarCraft, it's Ryung. And I don't know, Wardy, maybe it's just because during Katowice on the B stream, I'm pretty sure I cast probably 90% of Ryung's games when he went on that insane run to top 12. He kind of turned me into a fan. So that, coupled with the fact that his versus Zerg is not incredible. I mean, he did take Lambda to 3 games, and he looked better than I've seen him in a while. It's his TVP matchup that really impressed me. He's so good at finding these engagements and just setting them up and making it so that, yeah, maybe he's not the fastest player in the world, but his ability to set up positions and really play chess, make his opponent look like he's playing checkers and other pithy casterisms, makes this matchup a lot of fun to watch.
Yeah, he's really good at TVP, man. I mean, at Home Story Cup, he went, I believe he had he had 5 pros in his group, and I'm pretty sure he went 4-1 with his one loss being a 1-2 to Showtime. That includes wins over Creator, who's been fantastic as of late, right? Drogo, Goblin, Trigger, all strong players, you know, and I would definitely say Skillous is more on the level of Showtime than and Creator than perhaps the others, but the potential is definitely there for Ryung to put on a fight and put on a show. And yeah, there's just something about this matchup. It really seems to click for him. And just in general, I would say lately, I've been just impressed by Ryung. It's so cool to see him coming back and being such a force once again. He was not a player I expected to see kind of back at the top of the game again, to be honest. So yeah, and a very fun player too. Got some, had some good laughs with him at Home Story Cup. So yeah, kind of hard to not be a fan.
It's funny. You talk about that Katowice result. I think Ryung is single-handedly the reason why we didn't see a great Protoss result there, as he knocked Creator and Hero both out of the round of 36 play-in. And I mean, I think Hero was primed for a top 4 run if that didn't happen. So yeah, we blame Ryung for that one, but he's been looking a little shakier as of late. He lost Nightmare 2-0 recently, and if you look at a Legulac, they're gonna say Skillous is actually 55-45 favored in this matchup, which I don't believe. But that just says more than anything about just how good Skillous has been as of late.
Yeah, Skillous has also been really good. I can't really take that away from him. Been watching him play on Hero Marine's stream on the ladder against him a few times, and it's like, geez, he constantly pushes Hero Marine into these like crazy situations and crazy games, and Hero Marine is one of the very best in TVP, especially in Europe. So that really is just a testament in itself. And yeah, I think Skillous, when he's on his game and when he's feeling it, can absolutely just be somewhat unstoppable in this matchup included. He does play a bit of a slower style in this matchup, right? Usually he's kind of happy to let it go in towards carriers, get up towards disruptors, play that defense as he loses 2 probes here. The Double Reaper going to get the full scout, does go down, but 3 probes in total because the Hellion isn't the natural, getting 1 extra for 4. Good damage done by Ryung. That's a lot more probes than Skillous would have liked to lose. But yeah, Skillous sometimes playing that kind of slower game, but the only thing I would say in kind of tandem to that is that sometimes he's not afraid to also just like mass zealots if he sees the situation is right and just play like very zealot heavy. So it's kind of fun to see he's open to changing up his style, and I think that's what's made him so scary lately as well, that you've got no guarantee in terms of what Skillous is going to be playing.
You really don't. And we got to talk about this build from Ryung a little bit because it is a rather delayed natural. He went Barracks Double, almost as a TVP or a TVT opener, Barracks Double Gas Factory. And it did allow him to get 2 Reapers out, to get a Hellion out, get a little damage on the other side. But now this life is about to be a little complicated here, as he's got a Cyclone, a couple Marines, and a Viking, really a kitchen sink type of an idea against a couple Adepts, and one of them will fall, but not much more than that. So Ryung forces Skillous back. Skillous definitely want a little bit more there. When you commit to 3 Adepts like that there's a reason for it. It means you one-shot Marines, it means you one-shot SCVs, but that's also a lot more of these units that don't really do much after the early game that you would normally like to commit to.
Yeah, that's true, but I feel like Terrans have been really good at utilizing these units lately, right? And at least getting trade ads off them. I mean, they all help defend against the Phoenix, and if you can pick a Phoenix officer, that's kind of a good dent into what the Protoss player is setting up early. So yeah, they are kind of units you maybe don't see as much after the early game, but at least there is some use for them in this versus Stargate opener, and straight away here the Phoenix just like, nope, gotta get out of here. Shields instantly taken off of 1, so some value being found. And again, a couple extra barracks, and a very quick third CC in all honesty as well for Ryung, right? Third CC before the extra racks is very comfortable to just say, right, let's play an eco-focused game. I don't need some big kind of stim timing or barracks timing to be able to be okay in this game. I'm alright to play the macro focus side of it.
This is a great read from Ryung too, because well, there's a Twilight on the way, right? So this is going to be Phoenix into charge, and that is a build that is designed to smash Terran aggression. The 311, the 730 timing, whatever you want to call it. It moves out, it runs into a bunch of charge slots. There's Phoenix in the air, it dies, and suddenly you have a Terran that cannot take their third base and really dies shortly thereafter. But Ryung, seeing the amount of Phoenix on the map, maybe there's more of a read from what he saw on the main base. I don't remember quite what he scouted. He says, yeah, no, I'm going to get double eBay. I'm going to get that quick third. The bunker's going to be delayed for just a little bit, but that really is going to be fine. I'm going to get delayed stim. I'm going to get delayed combat shields. I'm going to power myself past the timing where your build skilless is scary. So for now, the Phoenix really have not been able to get all that much done. Charge halfway done, sure, but Ryung, just because he has this base doesn't mean he has to take it on location. He's still going to have triple mules. And well, the question now is, how does Skillous react to Ryung's conservative play?
Yeah, it really is great for Ryung, right? Like, the Zealots want to run out and attack, right? They want to deal with units coming their way, but Ryung says, no, none of that. I'm just going to play the macro game, so you shouldn't get a chance. Like, you can still maybe try and be aggressive as Skillous, but again, like, his army's not meant to really be aggressive. It's meant to be kind of catching an army out of position on the map, trying to get in position. So yeah, I like this a lot for Ryung, and these Phoenix coming around the left-hand side, trying to find an opening, and Skillous just going to take the Temple Archives. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised, honestly, if you wanted to try and take an extra gas or so here. This probe gets found, whatever it was trying to sneak down is going to be stopped and halted. So yeah, I wouldn't mind seeing Skillous maybe some extra gases and start just tacking up a little bit further, because at this stage, it feels like Zealot Archon is not necessarily going to be the route. This is his first Forge just now starting up, so he's got no upgrades right now. He's actually in a pretty weak position. Like, yeah, he kind of spiked like a minute ago, I suppose. Like, when Charge finished, that was his power spike, but if Ryung doesn't attack into that timing, it's now kind of going to be Ryung's power spike, and Skillous isn't going to have a lot to really deal with this. So, yeah, interested to see. He's going to take those extra gases now, maybe think about his next step. 6 gases really can lead into Storm, or he could maybe try and just go Robo Base, second Robo Facility straight towards Disruptors. He's got a bit of a choice there.
Oh man, there's such an anti-timing here from Skillous attacking in right as all the upgrades of Ryung complete at once. So now Ryung content to stem forward, but force fields are going to be good enough to start. And this is just setting up a run by into the third base, but with the Widow Mine to defend the SCVs, yeah, the 3 Zealots are not really going to get all that much done. And now 1-1's done, Stim's done, Combat Shield, Concussive Shell finishing up. We're going to have 2-2 get ready in just a second as that armory completes. Really the only thing that we're missing for Ryung right now against the style that Skillous is going for is that Ghost Academy, moving into just mass shield removal. But for right now, as long as Skillous stays at home, I mean, are you gonna run up a ramp into a bunch of 1-1 stim bio? I don't really think so.
No, he shouldn't. And it was kind of messy too, right? Like, this first sentry went down unnecessarily. The second sentry and the Archon were kind of exposed, so they took some damage. The Archon at least was saved as this Cyclone spots the Zealots. Doesn't even die. Cyclone getting to live here, and a couple of Zealots will drop. So Skillous' attempted run-bys are already being shut down ahead of time as well. As we do have our 4th base coming online and being saturated immediately, but this is Ryung pushing, and this is a terrifying push. He's got 1-1 against 0-0. There's no blink in play, right? So it's really just the Zealots, and there's a ton of Widow Mines. So if you're going to try and charge mines and Zealots into this minefield, if that is set up, this really shouldn't go well for you, and this is a terrifying moment or two from Skillous, especially because Ryung can force a fight away from batteries as well. Oh, this is actually horrible. He can just control this map entirely. This right side is in so much trouble, and I don't know what Skillous really does here. Let's see how he takes the fight. The Widow Mines are going to start going off. No blink to dodge those mines either, and Skillous' army's getting eaten alive. The counterattack does nothing at all, and Ryung is just all over him.
Yeah, unfortunately, Skillous trying to get that flank ready, but Ryung sees it in time, rotates right side, knocks all the Zealots down, and hey, there's another dead Phoenix. But now Ryung occupying a choke here in the natural. Skillous, he's got to take this fight. His natural, his third base, and his 4th all under threat, but he really cannot. And now it's 100 army supplied at 28. Disruptor shot's going to try to, I don't even know if you can get enough shots there. Widowmine kill the Disruptor. When's the last time we saw that one? But Ryung, he finds his timing, he sandbags it out, and then on that timing, he swarms across the map, and now he's up 1.
I mean, I think that was just a pristine game, realistically, from Ryung, right? Like, where could you really fault him? Defense early was perfect. He never overcommitted. His build order choice was absolutely spot on to deal with what Skillous was doing. It put him in a great position. It put him in the position where he didn't need to do anything, right? Which is Ideal. Skillous really just played kind of everything a little bit wrong, and then eventually losing a couple units already. Then Ryung gets across the map. There's no way for Skillous to stop him getting across the map either, because what can you do? Run with like Zealots kind of middle of the map when Ryung's got a powerful army? Not really. You don't have Blink Stalkers to slow it down. He's trying to take up into Disruptors. The time at which Ryung hits is just, again, absolutely perfect in this situation. And he takes the fight, which is spot on as well. You know, he doesn't go running into the super battery. He knows by putting himself between all these bases, he can kind of force a fight away from batteries. And he did exactly that and utilized his Widow Mines as well, made sure that they were firing and kind of putting out some damage. So, yeah, GG's. I really think just a very, very impressive game here from Ryung. And it just didn't really give Skillers time to think about what to really do properly.
I can't help but feel that Skillous, upon seeing how turtled down Ryung was, instead of moving out for that timing that really didn't do much of anything, I feel like he maybe was a little bit slow into his tech. I feel
Yep.
like at that point you just realize, okay, look, I'm not going to break this. He's not going to get aggressive. Let me drop down that second robo even faster. Get extended thermal lance, maybe into
Hmm.
Colossus. And actually, the Colossus would have, I think, maybe just been a little bit better there if he got to it in time. Now, at the time he dropped the Robo Bay, yeah, you go Disruptors because you're just not going to have enough Colossus out in time. But imagine there are three Colossus defending the high ground ramp.
Yeah.
I don't know that Ryung can make that push happen anymore.
I think it is just identification earlier because there's definitely a timing where I think skills can go up to 6 gases way sooner. Like he went from 3 to 4. If he just takes all the gas and goes all out on tech there, yeah, I think that's the way you've got to approach it because otherwise you really are just falling behind, right? You know, otherwise you're just committing in more so into an army that's not going to do much of anything. So yeah, and in the end, it was kind of half and half. You know, he was like, "Oh, I've got like an Archon or two, and I'm trying to get to Disruptors instead of just being like." At that point, if he just massed more Zealot Archon, maybe it would have been even better than trying to tech up, right? Because at least then you're fully committed to one idea. So yeah, a bit of a just a tough game. We'll see what happens in game two. In the bottom left, a yellow Terran player from Team GP is up by 1. It is Ryung.
And the upper right looking to turn this score inside and out. And the purple folks, his name is Skillous.
This is a nice
And what's
Terran map as well, man.
it is? It's so short. The tank positions are so nice. It's a little spooky.
Yeah, if I'm down a game, it's kind of rough to have to play this one now because again, Tropical Sacrifice is kind of the map where you're meant to have your easier 4 bases, right? You know, draw the game out, play that slower game, which Skillers can often do. So, you know, a little bit sad to be playing on Inside and Out here. And Ryung already just playing some mind games. Depot down, Skillers' scout is going to be absolutely minimal, so he can't see anything. And there's no second gas here from Ryung, right? And we're past that timing, so this looks like he's just going to end up expanding. He brings an SCV to the other side to fight the probe as well. So fun little plays here out of Ryung, and yeah, without a gas, I mean, Ryung should just be powering up towards a nice quick command center of his own. He'll be doing it in base and just trying to scare Skillous into an overreaction.
You're telling me, Wardy, that Ryung is trying to make Skillous second gas himself?
Second, oh my goodness. Beer Dragons actually made less jokes than you today. That's
It's weird.
concerning.
Like, yeah, that's true. And then Fear Dragon and I are on the same cast, and there's like no jokes whatsoever. I don't know.
Yeah.
We cancel each other out or something.
Something like that is React is going to go down. There's that CC in base that I mentioned. This is a slight economic give up, but again, the idea is that Skillous is scared enough that, you know, he's Chrono Boosting out an Adept here. In theory, that shouldn't get much done beyond denying the Reaper. It's not like he can really get that across the map and do much because the CC's on the high ground. There's no way you can delay it. There's no way you can hit an SCV, right? So this already feels kind of good in that regard as well. Yeah, I kind of like the mix-up here from Ryung, just something a bit cute. And we're even going to get an early sentry here from Skillous, which is definitely not the norm for this matchup. Reaper pops in, and is already going to find 1 probe, and looking for 2, just can't quite commit to that with the Adept nearby.
Yeah, not quite, but even still, trying to juke it down, and the Adept will not bite that one. So yeah, Ryung's going to be forced out. But hey, getting a probe early is nice. And you talk about the expand idea, but Ryung behind this 2 additional barracks. He's going for a 3 racks in game 2 on Inside and Out on this incredibly short map. It means that, okay, you cut down 3 seconds. You cut down 2, 3, 4 seconds on when that push arrives. That's the difference between the shield batteries being done, not done, between that first Immortal maybe getting chronoed out if this turns into a robo opening behind this from Skillous, which, I mean, there's a Twilight, so not necessarily a robo is not guaranteed super early. And just, again, this is a good map for the build, but that almost makes me surprised to see Ryung do it. Because if it's a good map for the build, it's also a map that Skillous may be expecting something like that on. And then, well, you have the whole, you kind of lose the advantage of mind games a little bit.
A little bit, for sure, but then I feel like with the hidden base a little bit and, hidden in base as well, it's kind of like, well, if I can just slow you down enough early and kind of make you overreact to the fact you don't know what's going on, and then I'm 3-raxing you, it could be pretty cool. In the end, Skillous is adding on a good amount of gateways, so it shouldn't really be too troubling for him to deal with this. As he gets towards his blink, this Reaper is going to check out the base again. But yeah, 3 gates before Nexus obviously means that Skillous is at least going to be in a little bit of a better position where he does just have the potential to make those units before expanding. So he shouldn't, again, run into too many issues here. I think he should be looking kind of alright for the next little while.
And he's aware of what's happening. He had that hallucination scout into the main. So I wonder now whether we're going to see Ryung move out on the map at all. Beyond, of course, was the player that really started to bring this 3-rax idea into the meta. And oh, look at these Marines here. They're looking to maybe catch a stalker as they run across, sweep in from both sides. Or actually, I guess they're just running across onto the other side of the map, no flank here. But Beyond, he was this player that brought this build into the meta for the most part. He was really the only player that was doing it for a while. But what he started doing is he was going for the 3-rax, and then he kind of realized, okay, if I push into this, my opponent knows about it, it's not worth it. But I can just build a really big supply. I'll get a quicker third base than I would on a 3-1-1. And then I'm kind of okay anyways. But Ryung, no, he has, what is that, 7 Marines on the map. And at the very least, this may get a pylon. This may get this warped in stalkers. Combat shields, stem, they're both done. That's going to be a dead stalker. Actually, no stalker blinks back, but Skillous was not expecting this. He thought he had him pinned back home.
Yep, I mean, that's a battery that you should be able to finish off here. A few probes, the pylon. And now it's going to distract Skillous to get the rest of your units across the map as well. He's going to turn around 40 Sentry. He gets that. Can we finish the pylon? Seemingly not, which is a bit of a shame. But we have chased down and killed a Stalker or 2 on the map as well. And I like it for Ryung. He kills off a few probes. Like, yeah, it's 8 Marines, but, the Stalker that he gets, the Sentry, the battery as well, right? It depowers the defensiveness of that third base for a while. Now, overall, I think I like it for a handful of Marines that are very easily replaced. Okay, maybe now he doesn't have like a big push for the 3-rax, but he'll have a powerful push when the Medivacs pop out.
And it's one of those things. Once the 3-rax gets scouted, you don't really expect to get a lot done with the full frontal attack. It's like, okay, well, my opponent knows about it. They'll have that extra shield battery. They'll pull themselves behind a wall. It's going to be okay. So instead, Ryung, 6-minute third base. That's a full minute and a half faster than the build we normally see, right? That 3-1-1 idea. He's still got a decently sized army. He's gonna have 1-1 by 8 minutes instead of just +1 attack. But it's not an army that he can really move out with. With 5 additional gateways on the way, eventually he's not just gonna have that big supply buffer that we would expect him to have. But Skillous isn't there quite yet. He's still Ryung's still up 20 army supply. His medevacs are done, as you said. This push is it's got some promise actually.
Yeah, it really does. Let's see what he can do with it. As he comes up the left side, a good scouting stalker from Skillous should be able to at least give him a little bit of a heads up. As Ryung scans the main base, which is kind of cute as well, because it makes Skillous think, are you scanning me to kind of drop there perhaps? So he maybe starts moving that way. Now Skillous does confirm that this is going to happen on this left-hand side. The super battery, of course, is available here. This should be poppable. And that first force field was actually a little bit off. Didn't trap anything, and the Guardian Shield going down just says to Ryung, you should just back away from this. And Ryung does. It's the right call. Wi-Fi into these kind of advantage positions for Skillous as he sets up a Widowmine drop that was seen. So Skillous is keeping very good map control in this game. As we are trying to chase this one Stalker down, which is pretty much all that Ryung is going to settle for right now. Is no! He gets away again just for a moment. Finally killed. As Ryung still rallying across the map, but behind all of this, his third CC is coming online. And he's still looking to be in a pretty comfortable economy. Still like where Ryung is at. We gotta say, Skillous is playing very well with the map control so far.
That he is. I think he's got a better understanding of the game too. I mean, we're gonna have to see if it's gonna be enough to hold on. But charge is now done. Skillous' army split up just a little bit. So yeah, shield better overcharges. Pop Guardian Shield actually doing a great job keeping these stalkers alive. But Ryung, that's pretty much his entire army on the left side. It really is not the entire army of Skillous. As Zealots run forward, we will see the Observer fall. Widowmine not getting the shot. Nice late blink there from Skillous. But now he's brought his entire army to bear. It's still, though, it's a 30 army supply lead for Ryung right now with his 1-1 here, trying to find a way forward. But the rest of his army, it's not quite there anymore. A lot rallying onto the other side of the map. And it's really only Marauders remain, which, hey, they're good against these Stalkers. It's now Skillous running away from the Aegis of that shield battery. I don't think that's what you want quite there, Skillous. You got to back up a little bit. You need those defensive structures.
I think Skillous lost too many Zealots in the first fight. He was really kind of just trailing them in 1 or 2 at a time, and then It just means you don't have that scary wave of Zealots to properly push this back, and then that blink forward was a little bit too brazen as well. Skillous immediately looking for a counter here, but Ryung should be able to spot these Zealots, and Skillous is very quick to respond to seeing the Bioforce there. If he wasn't in those Zealots go down, it's just even scarier, because he is already playing with that low army supply. You got to be careful. I mean, these Zealots need to kind of draw units back and slow Ryung down, because if they don't, well, Ryung has a crap ton of army to work with here and should be able to overrun to some extent at least. Those Zealots are going to get into the third base. The defense here, there's a few Marines rallied nearby. At the same time, those Widow Mines are setting up, though, and this is going to be a good splash onto this mineral line. It even hits the Colossus a little bit as we get 5 kills, but the SCVs are taking damage. As the units, though, are going to reinforce and clean this up pretty easily. It's actually pretty even trades.
Yeah, nice moves here from Skillous, pulling the majority of Ryung's army back. But the big deal about that push that Ryung was able to make happen by knocking down so many of those Zealots and just getting all that damage done, it meant that while Skillous, okay, he's alive. He didn't take too much economic damage. It's mostly okay. He's not really able to get a fourth base. He doesn't have the army to defend the idea of a fourth base. There's another probe will go down, but really no big deal there. So he's stuck on 3 bases against a 3-base Terran, and yeah, he's up 5 workers. But in this style that Skillous wants to play is very much a game where you want to stay +1 base on the Terran, because mules are a thing. You're not going to trade quite as cost effectively, especially once ghosts come out. Ryung active on the map once again, doing such a great job just by positioning, denying the easier fourth base to take. I think we're eventually going to see Skillous take top left, but then that means there's a significant amount of space difference between the fourth base and the main, and that's just going to open the map up for Ryung even more.
Oh yeah, absolutely. As these Marines coming through, going to knock this pylon down. Yeah, I really feel as though this is where Ryung's going to be in his element, right? Like the potential to drop a little bit, ghosts on the field. I'm still not really comfortable about Skillous' army, as Ryung is even looking to just jump in here. He's like, oh cool, I can drop a good EMP. Disruptor shot completely misses, and that's a cancelled 4th base, so still not allowed a 4th base, Skillous. He might have to go top left for 4th, which completely leaves the main base open to attack. That's really not ideal, as you see this disruptor shot, though, potentially huge. Good last-minute split there from Ryung, but he still has the numbers to keep on pushing through, and he's honestly feels like he's only moments away from getting on top of some of the tech units. He's got rid of a Colossus, he's getting rid of a Disruptor, and now he's pushing through into the natural. He's going to have Widow Mines to at least try and slow down the reinforcements from the low ground. There are Zealots counterattacking, but Ryung is not done yet as he continues all the way up into the main base. He might be able to get +2 here as he continues to zone the units out on the low ground. I mean, what a fight from Ryung. Just great identification of what he can get done in this. Really felt like right there he maybe could have had a Disruptor. He doesn't quite find it. He can't quite find that Colossus either. My goodness, what a ridiculous fight. And there's still Zealots just about being cleaned up on the other side. Can we finally kill this Colossus? It's gonna stay alive. Wow. Oh no, oh no. Oh, just...
Man, if I was to describe Ryung's TVP in one word, it would be positioning. He did such a good job of, well, finding that one position that he was going to be able to trade well. But honestly, Ward, we got to give Skillous a massive shout out there. I think that move, I think that kills a lot of Protoss players. But he was able to wait long enough, take the fights, get the warpins that he needed. And on the other side of the map, he got some decent economic damage. He got, what was it, 7, 8 SCVs. He was able to distract a lot. And that means that he is not dead, even as his 4th base has been continuously denied, even as he did lose a Colossus. He kept at least part of his Robotech alive, and he was able to just do just enough to make Ryung uncomfortable. But of course, Ryung, his 4th base is faster than the Protoss. And I know we've been talking about it, but I am very surprised to see Skillous. He's still kind of sitting on that, I'm going to take the pocket 4th idea, not expanding upper left. And considering how Ryung's been pushing through the middle of the map, I don't even know that Ryung would think to scout that for a while. 3-base Protoss does not feel good 12 minutes in.
No, it really doesn't. The fact that Ryung's getting his own base up pretty, carefree. I mean, there's some DTs showing up now, and the preparation for these is non-existent, so this is going to be, he instantly pulls the SCVs at least, so that's nice. Try and minimize damage, but really not ideal, because again, you're going to have to scan here. There wasn't any turrets ready to go, so it's going to slow you down a bit. Of course, you can EMP as well, but that requires the Ghost to be back and in position, so that, again, just takes a little while. We do hit this EMP. The Widow Mine will clean it up, if nothing else. The Marines are good, though. It does give Skillous a chance to start moving on the map, but these Widow Mines left behind are giving Ryung perfect information as to where Skillous' army is moving to, so he's not going to be caught off guard at all. I love just these zone and Widow Mines, one here, one there, just spotters for anything that might be coming his way.
Yeah, no, they provide so much map vision. Now, we do need to point out Ryung is pulling a bit of a Bjorn here. He is his +3 attack is on the way, +3 armor only just now getting started. But even still, I mean, the upgrade lead that Ryung has right now is really one of the big reasons that that fight through the middle of the map, a minute and a half ago, really worked out so well. The gateway units of Skillous were just not able to contest in the slightest. But Skillous feeling a little bit confident here as that Widow Mine on the very low Colossus starts to get a little bit scary. But Skillous is not posturing here because he thinks he can get a lot done. He's posturing here because he wants to make room for the DTs. It looks like 1 will die, but 3 will escape. Do we have DT blink? We do. So, I mean, definitely they would have been able to escape there. But looks like because of the Skillous, at least he's got his 5th base on the way. He's mining on 4. He's got 150 supply. That's not really comfortable, but the army supplies are pretty close. Well, they were pretty close until we had the next round of production.
Yeah, I like this little split from Ryung though, right? Because if Skillous is like, oh yeah, I'm going to threaten you over here, but not do much. Ryung says, well, do that one more time. I'm going to really punish you for being out of position. I'm going to have an army that can leap on the other side of the map. And I think that's kind of the deadly maneuver that Skillous is not necessarily prepared for and might not even still be prepared for. What's actually on that top base that he just scanned? Is it some... Okay, there is some units here, including a Disruptor. Ooh, that was a brave little move in, and Ghosts do pay the price for it as... And now Skillous' army gets here, but that right side 5th base, I think that's going to go down because there is nothing in position there. As a Viking should just be able to get rid of this Colossus. Really? No, just go kill it. This Colossus has gotten away with so many things, especially now. These Vikings could 100% have gotten there at the end there. Oh, that's crazy. I understand that there's obviously, like, you know, you've got to be a little bit afraid of the batteries and stuff, but it would just be so nice to remove that one little thing from this as we do get the cancel on this base at the right side at the very least.
I cannot believe that Colossus is still alive.
Yeah, I know.
What, like 10 HP or something? Like,
yeah,
it's got 9 kills. It's got 21 HP. This Colossus should just not exist in this game. But, well, look, Ryung is a kind and merciful god. He says, yeah, I'll give you this, Skillous. I think I can beat you anyway. So, yeah, have your Colossus. You know, it's fine. It's my gift to you.
Don't get me wrong, like, one Colossus isn't changing the game, but it'd just be nice to not have to worry about it, right? Like, because at the moment, you still have a few Vikings up just to help deal with that, and, you know, a little bit of damage it might provide. Maybe it cleans up a mine from far away. You know, it's just the little things. So you actually see Skillous is going to put himself between the bases here. Does this open a fight for Ryung? Does he set up to maybe come in from multiple sides? It's possible, but you still got to be very wary of the Disruptors. And Skillous knows the safety of these Disruptors really allows him to just back away. And at this point, I think Ryung is on the right track, heading towards, I believe, Range Liberators, Fusion Core coming online. I think that is what you need right now to really start zoning these Disruptors out, because otherwise they are just going to zone you out.
Interesting. Ryung is rather slow on this planetary. It's on the way now, of course, but it didn't mean the DTs. I mean, I like the second scan. It was not necessary. Ryung actually placed the first scan rather well indeed, but these missile turrets all over the place is making it really hard for Skillous to find the type of damage that he's looking for. But as Liberators start to hit the fray, Disruptor shots are gonna be massive. And
yeah.
we've had this narrative, right, of Ryung has been pretty far ahead. He's been doing a good job denying bases. Shots like that really do start to equalize a little bit more. It's going to force Ryung to spend a decent amount of his bank. His minerals are fine, Morty, but he's starting to run out of gas. And in this setup where you are going heavy Liberator or Ghost, that starts to get expensive.
Yeah, he needs to make sure these bases don't fall because he needs the continued gas income as we continue to just lose units to Disruptors, man. Disruptors are delivering at the moment, and there's just so many of them. It feels like you can barely go wrong with this amount of Disruptors. Yeah, it's a fragile army. If you get EMP'd, if you get jumped on and you aren't able to zone the army back, then you are in trouble. But in this sort of situation where you are taking control and you are dictating the pace, then actually this amount of Disruptors is extremely powerful because you shouldn't ever let the Terran army get too close to you because you're the one picking the fights. Ryung still maxed out though, as we do see new Colossi joining the fray. And he is going to get to range Liberators, and I do think that makes a massive difference because it should mean that Skillous can't be as controlling as he has been. And it should mean that Ryung gets some kind of zoning of his own in the next little while.
Wardy, that Colossus was EMP'd down to 0 shields. A Viking was shooting at it. It's still not dead.
Yeah.
But I do like this though, right? You add those 2 additional Colossus. They're a better option, honestly, against a bunch of Liberators. Range changes the calculus a little bit, but again, you actually can do damage on top of things. DT's on the north side. Looks like they're going to be able to deal with that one. And now Liberators sieging up, but the Stalker's already on position. Disruptor's zoning things out. 3 Liberators will fall. Big Disruptor shots, but now here comes Ryung springing the trap. Surround coming in from every side. The Colossus are just all dead, including the one from the early game. Every little bit of something that Skillous has had. Every hope, every dream on this side of the map. It's all going down. What an engage from the Master Tactician. He got everything.
He did get everything, and he needed to because he was losing a lot at the start of the fight. But of course, it's a fragile army, right? If you do not do well against this kind of Terran force initially, you do not do well later on. And man, it was very important that Ryung got everything there, because now it allows him to keep the momentum up and just go. And Skillous, yeah, I mean, that's the problem with that army. You cannot let the Terran force get on top of you. Otherwise, this happens, and now there's not really a way back into this game for Skillous, surely. He's going to be losing bases. Ryung has a lot of control. Skillous is going to try and make it crazy, but all Ryung needs now is to force one fight. Skillous is going to make that as difficult as possible for Ryung to find, but I think it is something that Ryung can find given a bit of time, because every moment that Skillous is blind is actually costing him units and all the rest of it as well.
I wonder if our observers can show us the resources lost number here, because it is not pretty. It's about 10,000 resources lost more for Skillous than it is for Ryung, which is not... Maybe if it's a full split map scenario, you go get main man disruptor, maybe you start to have it be a little bit more in the Terran's favor, but 10,000 resources in a PvT is just not how we expect this game to go. So Skillous, he's been able to build a little bit more. It's not an order of magnitude more army now, just maybe 70, which is still a lot. So Skillous is going to lose this upper left side base. I don't know how much he can do, as Ryung already setting up another big fight. But no, Skillous, he's going to find the army that Ryung split out a little bit, so a couple ghosts will fall. But Skillous needs to keep doing this for the next 10 minutes and not lose bases like he has been.
That's the issue, right? Like, Ryung's fine with this because he's getting bases, and as long as he's denying the bases, Skillous cannot possibly afford to get back in the game. So Ryung can give up a couple units. He's in that luxurious position where his bases have somewhat stayed alive against the onslaught of DTs and all the rest of it. And now even Skillous on the picture-in-picture, just losing a few probes to a few Marines is so painful as well. Something else that you just can't really afford to have happen in a situation like this. And it does just fall further and further into Ryung's favor. It feels like he's moving a base to the bottom right. He's going to grab an Archon here for free. And he's going to get on top of this base, which, if he can zone with the Liberators, could be very scary. The Disruptors at least will hold him back for a moment, but can't rely on that lasting forever.
I mean, those are some really nice Disruptor shots. I don't think it's going to make a difference as Skillous drops below 100 supply, but those were some really nice Disruptor shots. Unfortunately for him, here comes another army from Ryung. The continuous rally as Ryung